wonder how it does in my hair. Don't worry, it'll grow back. When I started woodworking, I bought these Irwin Chisel Set, cheap chisels. They're nothing special. You can get them at Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. Anyways, I've been using these for a little while and they've been getting duller and duller. And in the back of my mind, I was like, you know what? I need to get a sharpening system that's gonna work for me, that's gonna be economical and is gonna get the job done. So I came across Taytools' Scary Sharp Sharpening System. It cost me $25. You can't beat that. I haven't used it yet, but I'm gonna show you what it came with. I'm gonna talk a little about it. I'm gonna go behind the scenes. I'm gonna practice with it, use it on some of these chisels, and then we're gonna sharpen a chisel right here on this video today. In the box, it comes with this pad, which is pretty cool. It's basically the same stuff you would put inside of your drawers in your kitchen so stuff doesn't slide around. It's for the piece of glass. I believe they call this a float glass. Also, it comes with these grit papers. Now these are pretty sturdy. Your chisels will cut into them if you go at the wrong angle. I know that, but it's not like your normal sandpaper. And it comes with 7 color-coded papers. I'm using the word paper, but it's really not paper. And in order, the blue is 300 grit, 600 grit, yellow is 1200 grit, the light blue is 1800 grit, pink is 8,000 grit, light green is 14,000 grit, and the white is 60,000 grit. Now these right here are gonna be the ones you'll probably be using the most. These right here, you're probably gonna use it in the beginning when you first get your chisels or when they're really, really dull. So, but I'm gonna show you a system that I set it up that allows you to get all your chisels sharpened in no time. I'm gonna leave a link in the video description. You can go there, you can purchase it and see exactly what I'm talking about. One other thing that's really gonna help your sharpening is this honing guide. This was not very expensive at all. I'm gonna put right around here what the price was because off the top of my head, I can't remember, but it was not expensive. This is what you're gonna mount your chisel in. That way, when you're coming at an angle, you got the right angle, 25 or 30 degrees. Now, chisels come in a standard 25-degree bevel. People like to put an extra bevel at the end at 30 degrees, and you can do that to get that extra edge of sharpness. The honing guide works effectively when used properly, so you gotta load your chisel in here just right. Now, it depends on what kind of chisels you have. This is a mortise chisel. The more expensive, nicer, longer type chisels that have a different bit of a cut on the side here, those are called paring chisels or paring chisels. I think it's paring. If anyone knows, let me know in the comments if you can articulate pronunciation in words. So what you want to do if you have a mortise chisel like this, which has the 1-2 angles here, if you're right-handed, you're going to put this knob on your right-hand side. You're going to have it upside down because the bevel is going to go against this way. And then it's going to rest right on top of those 2 bars. Now getting it to rest just right can be kind of tricky, but you just have to play with it a little bit. But here's a little tip I'm going to give you. The distance at which it sticks out past the honing guide, right here from here to here, all depends on the angle that you want. If you want a 25-degree angle, the instructions that comes with the honing guide tells you exactly how much this distance should be. It goes 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40. So it has it in millimeters and inches, but don't pay attention to the inches because it's going to get complicated. Keep it simple. So I made this little block right here where it tells you exactly the 2 most common and the distance. So I measured from here to here. For the 25-degree bevel, I'm going to set this right up against here. Put the honing guide right at the edge. And I'm going to bring it all the way to the 40-millimeter mark. And then I'm going to tighten this knob on the side. Once I get that, I can use my flathead screwdriver. Before you tighten it all the way, make sure there's no gaps And so I got a little bit of a gap. It wants to ride up. That's one of the tricky things about this. So I'm going to release a little pressure, bring it down, retighten, check for gaps. No gaps, looking good. Double check my distance. And it is right there, dead nuts on 40 millimeters, which is a 25-degree bevel. And we're going to give it a little tightening. There we go. So that's nice and secure. So when you're going at this angle, you'll have a 25-degree angle. And you can double check by just looking at it to make sure the bevel is flat on that piece. And there you go. You're ready. This is ready to go. Now let's get the precision micro finishing lapping sheets ready to go. I have 7 of these, and this is 12 inches long. If I cut each of these in a strip of 1.5 inches, that gives me 10.5 inches of space. So this right here is 1.5 inches thick, so that makes for a good measurement. To start, you want a nice clean surface. You don't want any dust particles. I have a damp rag right here, and I'm trying to get all the dust off. I'm gonna follow it with a clean rag. You can do a spray ball or whatever you like, but you just want a clean surface. This is like putting on a screen protector for your phone. So that looks pretty good. This is a peel and stick type of system. And this is our 300 grit. We're gonna start here. You want to make sure you get all the bubbles out. So just bring it in nice and slow. Now, the instructions say to use water here, and then you get the bubbles of the water out, and as the water dries, this will stick. The problem with that is when you apply water to here, it reactivates it and it'll pop up and not be stable. So, to combat that, we are going to use WD-40. You don't want to get any dust particles underneath there or grits of sand that will cause an uneven surface. You want it to be as flat as possible so you're... Oh, I think I got one right there. The kit comes with instructions right here and gives you the PSA aluminum oxide grit color keys system here. I outlined the ones that apply to the kit that came with these. So what I'm going to do is with a Sharpie is going to mark the grits so we don't forget. So I've applied all the different grits on this glass, float glass, but the nice thing is, look at all the extra stuff we had left over. And I'm going to be able to get several cuts out of each one of these grits for quite some time. So if you're looking at this system going, is this right for me? Well, it's 25 bucks. The price system is perfect. It's going to last you a long time. It's not going to last as long as a stone, which is going to cost you $80, $100, $150. So you cannot beat this price point. And from all the reviews that I see, it can make a absolutely amazingly sharp edge that will cut paper and your own hair if you want. So off camera, I'm going to go and play around with this on my chisels. I'm going to come back and we're going to do one together. All right, I'm back. I have tore it up pretty well with 3 chisels on this glass pad and micro, what are they called? Hold on a sec. Precision micro finishing lapping sheets, okay, or I'll just call them grits. When I say tear it up, I mean not actually tore them up, but I put them to good use and the results are very positive. I do have one little thing I want to talk about later, but not to do with these, to do with the honing device. So now that I consider myself a novice or expert or somewhere in between when it comes to sharpening these things, I'm going to show you how it's done. So the first thing you want to do is take the back of your chisel and make sure it's nice and flat. And we're basically going to try to create scrape marks along the edges, and that's going to give us a good starting point. So you can do it one of 2 ways. You can just drag it along, make sure it's, you get a little distance there. You can just drag it along like this, or if you want to be more aggressive, you can just sit on top and kind of do a back and forth motion, putting pressure on top of the chisel, just like I am. And then you definitely, I don't know if you can see or not, but there we go. At the tips there you can see the discoloration. So we're hitting it pretty good. We can do a little bit more. Yeah, we got a little bit more that you can see right there. You can see the ends right here. We're hitting it pretty good around those edges. So we're going to stop right there with that, and we're going to flip it over, and we're going to do a 25-degree bevel on this end. So that means we need to put it in our honing guide. We got our 30-degree honing guide all set up. We're going to add a little WD-40. And let's get going here. Now, I usually like to do the longest session on the 300 grit and then shorter sessions on the rest. Make sure it doesn't wobble in your hand because that'll put uneven sharpening angles on it. I'll usually do, well, I'm figuring that the best way to do it is about 20 to 30 seconds on the first part, the first grit. We can check our blade. And you may feel a burr. You may feel a burr over here. So I want you to see this. If you can see, you see how that is real shiny right here on that end and not on this end? What that tells me is that I don't have it just right. I probably have it at a more than 25-degree angle, or maybe less, probably less than 25-degree angle. So I'm going to go back and readjust on the honing guide. Be back in a sec. Okay, I'm back. Let's go ahead and try this again. I've readjusted my bevel, as you may need to do, and we'll give it a shot. Okay, if you can see that now it's starting to look a little bit different color right there, a little bit different sheen. So we're in the right spot. Now I could go even longer and get that color to be the same all throughout, but we really don't need to do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up on all the grits. Now let's take a look, and you can see just how that's like a mirror shiny right there. And that's what you're going for. And with that 60,000 and 14,000 grit, that's what you're gonna be able to accomplish. All right, I just put a 25-degree bevel on it, sharpened it. Let's go with a secondary bevel at 30 degrees. I hope you can see that. See that secondary bevel right there? That's after the 300 grit. Let's do the rest. Now you see that secondary bevel? That is really nice. Let's try the paper cutting test. All right, let's give it a paper test. Well, that worked pretty good. Let's go a little slower. I can even do shadings. I wonder how it does with my hair. My hair's kind of wet though, I'm kind of sweaty. Passed the hair test. Don't worry, it'll grow back. Well, there you have it, scary sharp. A few thoughts I have at the end of this whole experiment. Number one, I love this. $25, razor sharp, scary sharp. You can't go wrong. Go to Amazon, click on the link and get it. Just do it. In addition to that, the honing guide. I really like the honing guide. I feel like it's very necessary but not mandatory. Focus on that. Necessary but not mandatory. You can still accomplish the same thing without it. You do risk cutting the paper without it. Also, note, the smaller the chisel, the more difficult it is to get secure in the honing guide. This is a 1/4 inch and I found it pretty much useless for the honing guide. You can get it in there if you take your time and actually try hard enough. I just didn't have the patience to get it secure. So I just did this one by freehand. The larger, the easier. I had no problems with the 3/4 inch, the 1 inch, and whatever that other one is. I have 4. To have the complete sharpening system, I highly recommend a strop. Now this is a strop on a wooden paddle. It's by Beavercraft. So this is your go-to. It's chisel, 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 strop, strop, strop. Chisel, chisel, strop, strop. And that's gonna keep your blade edge sharp while you're in the process, so you don't always have to go back to this system. This should only be used maybe, I don't know, a couple times a year, maybe 3-4 times a year at the most, depending on how active you are. So other than that, pick up yourself a strop. All 3 of these things will have links in the description. I'll see if I can find some extra accessories or extra paper that you can buy as well. Go get it, spend the $25. In total, all of this with tax, and I got free shipping through Amazon, it was like $77. So for the whole kit, 77 bucks. For this alone, 25. This is Dude Sawdust. Thank you for watching. I'm out of here.